Hey everyone, Anders here with a first impressions of Wukong in Black Desert. I have a video on the channel showing all of his skills, and I was able to spend some time testing the class in global labs. So in this video, I'm going to break down where I think he ranks right now in terms of PvE. I do have to add a disclaimer. This is a pre-release version of Wukong, so he will likely see changes when he launches later this week. His damage feels very good in test server, so I don't think he needs a ton of damage increase. Just right now, there are some awkward interactions between skills, some animations need work, and some skills aren't activating correctly. If I'm honest, I'm not sure if that is a Wukong issue or my NA test server issue. I was having a lot of problems with server disconnects and testing, so much so that I wasn't really able to grind or test without interruption for that long. At the moment, I'm getting server disconnect pop-ups every 10 minutes or so. It is currently so bad that I can't even change my add-ons on Wukong, so that's where we're at right now. That being said, I think I was able to test enough to get an idea of how the class will play, which is going to be very quick. He is an evasion class with an evasion passive and an evasion buff on his dash. He is definitely going to be a combo focused class, and there's a lot of animation canceling you can do between different skill links. I would call him a higher APM class than what is typical for a BDO. I wouldn't call him hard to play, but it was awkward trying to learn which skill links worked better than others, but this could be a pre-release issue. But anyway, his core gameplay resides in his Celestial Nectar passive and his Tucita's Gourd skill. The Gourd skill consumes dough energy from your enemies. You can even see the Gourd icon showing you how full it is as you fight. The only way to consume dough energy is using that Gourd skill. Once it reaches max energy, you can activate your fighting Buddha state with the Q input on PC, and in this form, most of your skills become enhanced with greater AoE and with either the ability to summon clones that deal more damage or the ability to dash forward to your target. Activating these effects require you to have the Wukong's hair buff, which in PvE at least should always be active in a typical rotation. In this Buddha state, Wukong's going to become an AoE machine with extremely high damage. It feels like honestly you're playing a different class. You can also gain access to a new skill, Heaven's Pivot. This is a large high damage AoE skill that can only be used in the Buddha state. Every time you use enhanced skills, your Gourd dough energy diminishes, and when it drops to 0, you exit the Buddha state. If you want to leave your Buddha form manually, you can simply just use the fighting Buddha skill or Q on PC, and it will take you back to your normal form. However, if you're just standing still in your Buddha form, it doesn't go away. It is technically a 24-hour buff, and if you use the Gourd skill in your combo, your dough energy constantly replenishes, meaning you will never leave the Buddha state anyway. The dough energy mechanic is kind of odd. All it really does is force you to ramp into your Buddha form, and then after that you kind of forget all about it as you grind. Maybe we'll see changes to it when it releases, but for now that's how it works typically. We also have an AP buff of 16 in 3 different skills for Wukong, a minus 20 DP shred debuff on 2 skills in the kit. I personally liked using move out of my way skill for the AP buff activation and the pierce through and crush to bit skills for the DP shred, since they also had forward guard on them. The class has a lot of super armor. Almost every skill has super armor, but he only has a few forward guard abilities. You also don't have a block, but you can S block. For health regen, the Gourd skill itself has a 400 health per hit effect, and when you first go into your fighting Buddha form, you recover 3000 health. If you use the Gourd skill every 5 seconds or in your rotation, health regen should not be a problem. For combos, there's really no point talking about them right now. This is a pre-release build, but I did settle into a flow I liked with these skills. Now bear in mind, again, I did not do a ton of testing because of my connection issues, so expect more details on PvE combos and add-ons and numbers when he goes live later this week. The tricky part I think with Wukong is his movement. He has a lot of options. The shortest movement besides your dash flow is your hold it right there skill. Then you have your dash and upheaval, which have similar distance. Smash and flat has good distance on it, and of course Nimbus will be your long range movement skill. But you also have It Ain't Over Yet, which is the spacebar skill on PC. You can use it anytime after any skill, and linking it after other movement skills feels pretty good. You move a great distance with it, and because of the low cooldowns on all of these movement abilities, you can keep going this way quite a distance until you have no more stamina left. We also have Impale Through, which is an airborne movement attack, but it's a bit tricky to use. The damage is great, so what I do is I link it with the airborne flow Buddha's Finger, here that helps you direct the attack and movement in air better, and I mainly use it for repositioning in a pack. Both of these skills also benefit from the Buddha state with enhanced versions, dealing some decent damage. For the gap closer, I ended up liking Upheaval more than the others in the combo just because it also has an enhanced state that deals good damage. I did some testing of Darkseekers and Wukong felt better than I actually expected, even with my add-ons messed up and even with me making multiple mistakes. Grinding with him felt like a breeze, which normally on test server with these pre-release classes, I always feel like the class seems a bit slow or on the slow end compared to live, so I take Wukong grinding well in Darkseekers as a good sign. The two skills I'm not sure about right now with his kit are his 100% ult, Tormenting Spike, and Explode 'em All, the Shift R&B skill on PC. Shift R&B feels a little too static, and the ult is just way too slow. The skill itself also feels too slow to use without the ult, but I think there is an animation cancel, just wasn't able to test it out with all the connection issues I was having. Overall, I can only speak on his PvE pre-release performance and a not so great test server connection, but with all of those grains of salt, Wukong does feel very strong. If you like the look of the class, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you like slower classes like Guardian, I don't think this is the one for you. But either way, if you've been around long enough, we know Perlibis will be making sure that Wukong is strong for at least the next couple of months. That's it for this class preview. Let me know what you think about Wukong in the comments down below. Expect a video going over the release version of this class in more detail later in the channel. I will be checking to see every change he gets in the Korean server this week. That way you guys can get a heads up on whether he gets buffed or nerfed on release. And at the end here, I'll leave you with the little bit I was able to record at Darkseekers with minimal connection issues, so you can more or less see what he grinds like on a geriatric player. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.